name, came over and held her body and took his eyes out, but we would not see it, right? In Ajax, Sophocles, who was a general of the Greek army, places the suicide in full view. So Ajax plants his own sword in the sand, wants to be alone, has PTSD, as we refer to today, as he mistakes pigs and cattle for the enemy and slays them. Then realizes what he's done, feels tremendous shame. The other people in the troops are going like, what do we do? We're supposed to be the best of all warriors. He's flipping, right? He's seen things. And shamed because the trophy shield was not given to him but to Odysseus. He goes to the water, to the sand, to the beach, plants his sword and plunges himself into the sword. A way also that hopefully that his wife would be the one to find him so that his body would be honored. And he shows the suicide at his monologue before he's going to kill himself. And the research that was done for this cycle, this person who started organizing it tells me, you know that he performed it for the first time in front of 17,000 troops. So he performed it to the soldiers to give language to something that was already going on. And to help them see something. This is the foundation of our sense of idea of what theater is all about. And eventually, and according to Anne Bogart, the American director, to her, there's actually never quite fully understood what McCarthyism did to American theater, with the blacklists and the bannings, and how it was another game after that. And a sense not only with some writers that didn't want to touch certain subject matters, but that it was toxic for a producer to take on something that could result in this kind of backlash, eventually moving into this model of entertainment, and that basically is the sort of mainstream notion of why would anybody want to go to the theater, and why we would consider a bad idea to talk about theater in the context of human rights, or why is it frowned upon culturally when they receive the Oscars, take the opportunity to say something about something that is happening in the world, and it's like you're not supposed to, which is antipodal to what the people that we're writing about, or to what it is, the sense of what artists are in places like Latin America or many other parts of the world, that in fact is seen as it's your responsibility as a social communicator to deal with this, not the opposite. In the US at least they put it often like, how could this person use their celebrity status or this platform given by what they do as a way to push their politics, right? And to me, that's when I started seeing that, it was really difficult.
As opposed to the politics of Paramount Studios.
To process, right? Yeah, right. And of course, hidden behind this is actually there are some heavy politics, and I feel a very I'm trying to find the right word for this, but I say sneaky type of sort of negative ideology that is to me it's an ideological position to say you're not supposed to deal with this, that passes as neutrality, but it's deeply ideological and tendentious. I would say that's what they're saying of us when we do the opposite. What do you mean? It's like it's what do you mean by neutral? According to whom? So I think that there's a tradition that when these things started happening in places like Chile, Peru, Colombia, and we saw a number of artists really stepping up and risking their lives, something that was already there became even stronger, and the bond between communities and artists was sort of made stronger by artists risking their lives to address these issues. And even when they were killed, and there was a time in Argentina where theater altogether was banned. You couldn't see anything. Everybody sort of, I mean, I cherish the moments of gathering in homes and reading the works of banned artists, like 10th generation photocopy, passed on from person to person, including Bertolt Brecht. There are people that if you were found with, text by Brecht, you could be taken into custody, and maybe that's the last time you were seen. Brecht was prominent in the list I mean, he was long dead, but he was still a banned author, like of course you were to be found with the Little Red Book or Das Kapital or things like that. That was a ticket to the torture room. But so if you were caught listening to certain music, so we would gather, and so these artists, even if dead or exiled, were still creating community for us, because we would listen to Mercedes Sosa with a close group of people that we trusted, or if we really trusted someone who trusted someone else, because it's the first time we saw someone who was kind of scared. And that also kept that fabric of trust together, because I feel, they say truth is the first thing that is the first casualty of war. Trust is right there with it. So the idea of separating, of building this connection, what happens to the first peoples 2,000 miles from here, it's not a problem here. And that's not true. It is a problem. And it's not just as an issue of solidarity. I mean, we are all connected. It's a fact of life. So I think that's something else that theater can do, is also to put on stage those relationships, make them visible, because they're often invisible. Working with the immigrant community, I mean, these people are literally invisible. They're like a disappeared. And not only because they're invisible in the context of the politics and how they're often sort of vilified but they're invisible because often the work they do nobody sees. They're working in the kitchen, in the restaurant. They're not serving. They're cleaning offices at 3, 4 a.m. in the morning. Nobody sees them. You arrive wherever you work and it's all clean. I mean, I'm talking about this corporate settings and so forth. But we're deeply in relationship with these people, like the people who build our garments that we buy very cheap because they often get paid very nothing for it, or the people who kill themselves because of the oppressive situation so that we can play with our iPhones. I mean, we have their labor in our hands, but this is, this disconnect is also, I think, something that theater performance can counter. Put us back into relation. Make those bonds through symbolism, metaphor, stage devices, or stories visible and present.
I was going to say, just after that, I recently went to a conference in London, England. It was in January, and it was a conference on, it was like more or less a theater of the oppressed conference. And one of the groups had said they'd had a successful run of a show that really greatly involved the community.